The Lena boys can't be stopped in their never-ending search for the Oak Island wealth. They keep pushing the limits and getting closer with each risky move. Get ready for the biggest surprise of your life as we reveal their newest find. The Lena boys are changing the story of Drive, and what happens next is truly amazing because what they discovered next might shock you. Did they finally find the gold? Keep watching to find out. A hammer was used by Duma contracting to grab the last 10 feet of the garden shaft in the money pit location. Once they have removed any debris and water from the area, they will then proceed to renovate the remaining 10 feet just as they have done with the 72 feet above it. Samples of water, soil and timber obtained from the have all been shown to contain trace amounts of gold according to various tests. According to Marty, the reason for renovating the garden is so that they can have a better understanding of what lies beneath it. There is a garden shaft that may be found at their bottom of the shaft below it and also to the sides of it. While this is going on, Rick and the other members of the team are still in the swamp where they are continuing their search for a paved region that appears to be a continuation of the paved area that was discovered below the eye of the swamp in the year 1200 AD. In addition, there is a ramp that leads to a previously found cobblestone route that ascends the side of the marsh that is fashioned like a triangle. It is possible to reach the money pit location by way of a gigantic tombstone pit that is located at the bottom of the marsh. Lad is required to depart in order to complete some permits. However, they do not specify what the permits are for. In addition, Miriam shows up to take his position. According to her, in order for them to be able to accomplish any kind of excavation, they must first remove the mud from the region. They are the ones who have seen that the job has been done extremely well and have come in to praise it. Both Gedron, an expert in metal detectors, and Jack Bagley, arrive at Lot 5 in order to begin the process of excavating metals that had been exploited for mining purposes in the past. I am grateful to you. The first item is a late 700 square nail, but the next one is this orately token. Gary suspects it to be Roman like the coin. He has found others like it off Oak Island. They immediately take it to the lab. Emulator reveals that it comes from a mine either in Iran or Sardinia off the coast of Italy. They will continue to try to identify the token. I don't know. The Lot 5 was discovered prior to the middle of this season. It was owned by someone else and was off limits to the production. Since then, numerous discoveries have been made there. Among the discoveries that have been made, there are a half of a Roman coin that could be as old as 300 BC. The following day, members of the team get together in the war room with researchers who have brought a presentation of information that may explain the findings in Lot 5 and the operations that took place in the swamp in the latter time frame when they would have been fleeing persecution by the Pope and King of France, who believed that the Templars were too rich and powerful. There is proof of Templar journeys to North America. These trips occurred in both the 11th and 14th centuries. A recent paper that was discovered by an Italian researcher has a date of 340 and has maps that demonstrate that people traveled to North America a significant amount of time before Christopher Columbus. Rick is of the opinion that the work that was done on No Island was carried out at various states but with the same goal in mind. It is also revealed by one of the researchers that he will be traveling to look at those records and that he has also obtained access to the Vatican archives in order to continue his research. Extremely exciting in the future. When Lead Nyman returns to Lot 5, he discloses that a former landowner named Robert Young, who had purchased property in Frent Dullen, had called Lou in August of this year to take a look at this circular stone structure. During that time, L was under the impression that it was the floor of a cellar. Nevertheless, in light of current discoveries, he will excavate a section in order to better understand what it is like. The historic city of Kolkata, which is known as Jara, is depicted on the wall at the bottom of their garden shaft where the pier is. Falls. The operator of the crane discovered a portion of a barrel while working in the garden shaft. Another section of a barrel has been discovered by the crew, including in the swamp, but they have never discovered a who. Prick draws attention to the fact that it must have originated from a very large barrel. Billy brings the digger into the swamp so that he can proceed to excavate other portions of the stone ramp within the swamp. It is determined by the team that their ramp's boundary is located on this side. The next time on what may be a 2-hour season finale of The Curse of Oak Island, which has not yet been given a name as of early Wednesday morning. No other information will be provided. Exactly like the original money pit, the circular stone feature that is located on Lot 5 has a diameter of 13 feet. After Gary discovers whatever it is, he later asserts that it must be the oldest metal artifact discovered on Oak Island. In response, blacksmith K and Leg asserts that it is the oldest he has ever seen in all of Nova Scotia. Furthermore, this expert asserts that he is 100% certain that something, possibly the token from episode 20, is Roman and that it dates back to the 5th century. Basically, this episode explains that during the course of their exploration of Oak Island, the team made a number of findings which are essentially covered in this episode. Early in humans contracting continued their work on the garden shaft, rehabilitating the last 10 feet in order to ascertain the items that were located below. Rick and other members of the team discovered a paved area and ran in the swamp. At the same time, it is possible that these features are connected to the money pit. Newman came uncovered round stone feature on Lot 5 that they intend to explore in the future. Another discovery was a portion of a barrel that had a hoop attached to it. A specialist in metal detection discovered a lead token that was quite elaborate and was thought to have been Roman in origin. The token was found in their mine in Italy. The informat iron that was presented by the researchers suggests that the Templars traveled to North America between the 11th and 14th centuries, which could explain the discoveries that were made in Lot 5. There will be a continuation of the investigation into the circular stone feature, as well as the possibility of findings at the money pit in the season finale, which is scheduled to be a 2-hour episode with a garden shaft that is 82 feet deep and 78 feet deep. Duma Contracting is grabbing that hammer following the removal of the debris and water. They will complete the refurbishment by installing new wood that is resistant to water contact. The first thing that they will do is perform a probe drilling operation on all 4 sides and straight down in order to identify whether or not there are any voids that could be indicative of tunnels or an offset chamber, as they have done all the way down. In addition to the water and soil samples that were taken from the garden, it was ascertained that the original wood had a considerable quantity of gold and the trace elements that are associated with it. They are of the opinion that the potential origin of the gold trace evidence is somewhere within the baby blob that is pictured above, perhaps between 80 and 120 feet below the surface. This is the opinion of both the geophysicist and the hydrogeologist. During the course of digging B-holes, choice digging found indications of a tunnel, and 3 of the B-holes that they were drilling, it is possible to reach the garden shaft through this tunnel in a very direct manner. Duma Contracting will be able to make advantage of this in the forthcoming time period. The event that occurred at Duma Contracting did not have any real-world effects. Contrary to the widespread notion, the island was selected for the purpose of conducting an investigation into a token that was found on Lot 5. Through her investigation, Emma was able to establish that the token originated in either Iran or Sardinia, which is a region that is situated off the coast of Italy. He has come upon a sculpture that he feels could be its twin, and that dates back to Rome in the 5th century. He believes that this piece was created by the same person. After that, he goes on to assert that a piece that is extremely comparable to this one was found on a Roman site in the United Kingdom. When Marty inquires about the degree of certainty he possesses regarding the origin and dating, Sandy says that he is 100% positive about each of these matters. Documents connected to that object that were acquired from the British Museum are in his possession. The Roman half coin that was found was also found in Lot 5, which contained the coin. The location in the United Kingdom is 13 m away from Royston Cave, which is a Templar initiation chamber that was visited by members of the team earlier in the year 2022. Gar discovers this information after checking his phone and discovering that their location is in the United Kingdom. There is also the suggestion made by Gary that they proceed with the search of Lot 5 in order to excavate a portion of the circular stone feature that is situated in close proximity to the spot where the coin and token were found. Lad and Alex have made their way back to the location of Lot 5. 20 years ago, a previous landowner asked Hell to investigate a feature that he had initially thought was a cellar. Lad had initially felt that the feature was a cellar. It was after he had made a number of discoveries on the lot that he decided to go back there and look around. This time, in comparison to the stones that were found at the location, their research suggests that it is significantly larger and has a greater quantity of stones. In addition, Lad and Alex claim that the currency and token were found at the place that is under investigation. Alex unearths a piece of pottery that was made in the middle of the 1700s and can be found on top of the stones that were buried. According to La, being on top does not indicate a building date, rather it only indicates a habitation date being on top in there. Photograph to the left of the center T. Here are two pink flags that can be seen. These flags, which are generally used to signify metal detector hits that have not yet been uncovered, can be seen after Billy had returned to the marsh. He moved the excavator to their northeast so that it could dig in a spot that was more dry after the initial bucket has been used. The small horseshoe is found beneath the surface since the 1400s. The blacksmith's arm in leg has been responsible for its establishment. He goes on to explain that there are no documented visits to the province that involved horses earlier to the year 1670, and that this particular horseshoe can be considered the oldest horseshoe that he has ever seen in Nova Scotia. According to him, this horseshoe is the oldest horseshoe that he has ever seen in the province. After Led and Alex have returned to Lot 5, they immediately begin examining the opposing sides of the feature in order to ascertain the degree to which the stones stretch. An excavation is a method that is more time-consuming than this one. After further investigation, they find that the stones are organized in a circular pattern and that their pattern is uniform throughout the entire area. In addition, they arrive at the conclusion that it has a circumference of 13 feet, which is roughly equivalent to the size that the original Money Pit depression was believed to have had. Additionally, the same breadth as an initiation well in Portugal, which was a destination that members of the team visited as part of their trip in 2021. Their hypothesis states that it is a proof of concept, which is also commonly referred to as the original effort of the Money Pit. After that, they proceeded to continue excavating. After supplying Rick with an update on the cell phone, the capital at that depth, the original timber is bowed and there is a break in it. According to DR, who informs Charles Barkhouse of this information is presented at the garden shaft, which is located 4 feet shorter than the actual bottom of the structure. There is a widespread belief that a considerable amount of pressure would have been necessary in order to bring about that they are able to safely refurb down to that lumber, after which they may remove and replace it. However, this may cause their completion timetable to be delayed by many weeks than it would have been otherwise. A new presentation is being made in the war room by the same researcher who published documents the week before that had information regarding Templar expeditions to the New World during their 11th and 14th centuries. The records featured information about the events that occurred during those expeditions. He has come to the realization that the Templars possess a tunnel network that is situated beneath the city on the coast of Ibi. This discovery was made possible by his expertise. A cave that is suggestive of the laid cross elpis and carvings may be found within this tunnel system. It is very interesting. During the time that Rick, Alex and Peter Franti are away traveling to Italy for the purpose of conducting research, Marty will be in charge of maintaining the fort that is located on Oak Island. When they go back for the next episode of The Curse of Oak Island, which is going to be named Star Nights, they're going to go on a field trip to the cave system in Italy. Duma tells Marty that they have arrived at the place in the garden shaft right below where the timbers come to an end. Marty is informed that they have arrived at this point. Furthermore, the excursion sheds light on a relationship that exists between Nolan's cross and the stars during the course of the journey. Denominative contracting is getting closer and closer to the bottom of the garden shaft, and they have plans to probe and drill after the refurbishing is finished. This is a recap of episode 21, which can be found here. They came across signs of a tunnel while they were drilling, which prompted them to believe that they might be able to tunnel towards a site of interest. This led them to believe that they could tunnel towards the destination. The construction of a ramp is currently taking place in the marsh by Rick, Bill and Gary. They are working on it because they have a strong suspicion that it is a section of an old paved area. Numerology expert Sandy Campbell examines a Roman half coin and lead token that were found on Lot 5. Both of these items were located on Lot 5. Both of these pieces were found to have originated in Rome around the 5th century, as demonstrated by the findings of her investigation. Elle and Alex make the discovery of a circular stone formation in close proximity to the spot where the coins were found. Due to this disc ovary, it has been established that the feature in question is significantly larger and more intricate than was previously assumed. Billy made the discovery in Nova Scotia of the horseshoe that is the oldest in the province. It dates back to the 1400s and is the oldest horseshoe in possession. The team is making headway towards locating the legendary riches by conducting an ongoing inquiry and investigation of the various finds. This investigation is being carried out by the team, the crew that is working on the Oak Island Island site has been confronted with a challenge when they find out that the procedure of upgrading and replacing a wood stock might potentially push back their completion date by a number of weeks. A researcher who has just found new information regarding Templar expeditions to the New World and a tunnel system in Italy that is comparable to the lead cross carving on Oak Island is going to present his findings to the team. In the meanwhile, the previous seasons of The Curse of Oak Island was full of exciting events, and the Alchina brothers were the stars, making huge steps forward. The exciting progress they've made makes me think they might be about to find the wealth that has been eluding them for a long time. As we talk about the most important parts of their journey, we are about to reveal something that will blow your mind. The Lagina brothers are changing the story of Oak Island, and what they've done so far is truly groundbreaking. Come with us as we break down the amazing events that could lead to the biggest find ever. The final level of the garden shaft is now being constructed by Juma Contracting Company. When they are finished, they will have finished restoring the shaft by using wood that is resistant to water. The water, the soil and the original wood from the garden shaft have all been found to contain high trace amounts of gold according to the results of their tests. Starting from this hole that is 82 feet deep, they have the ability to continue deeper and tunnel in any direction. For instance, as they approach the bottom of the garden hole, they have the ability to venture deeper and tunnel in any direction they choose, heading in the direction of the baby blob, which is the region that contains the highest quantities of gold. It has come to their attention that the north corner of the shaft is sloping downward as they have continued down the shaft. When they reached this lowest level, they discovered that the